So you heard Amos, and now Amaziah was a professional prophet. He's paid for by the northern kingdom. He was part of Jeroboam's retinue. And up comes Amos from the south. He doesn't really want to be there, kind of like Jeremiah and a lot of the prophets. They're a little reticent to do this, but it's the word of God which drives them, and it's Yahweh God, the Old Testament, that drives them. And so he goes up there and he says, well, Amaziah says, go down to the south where you came from, and if you critique the north, they'll love you. You know, it's like if you're a Republican and you're critiquing the Democrats, they're going to love you. Same thing. If you're a Democrat critiquing, they're going to love you. Well, that's the same thing with Amos. They said, go down to the south and scream and yell about the north, they'll love you. And Amos says, and you heard it, it's a great line. He said, these are my credentials. He said, hey, I'm a shepherd and I'm a dresser of sycamores, the trees. I love that. I'm a dresser of sycamores. I don't want to be here. Yahweh God drove me up here, and I've got to speak his message. I don't want to do it, but that's my mission. So he did it, and he had a very harsh critique for the paid prophet Amaziah and for Jeroboam the king. He was calling Israel back to its vitality of its traditions, the northern kingdom, and eventually they would do a lousy job and just go away. In the gospel, and you heard Jesus, it's a great story. And my reflection online today, I love this story and a few others like it. It says when they bring the guy on the stretcher to Jesus, they bring the guy on the stretcher, and in another gospel they have him, you remember the guys climb up the roof with the stretcher guy, and they open up the roof and they drop him into this cocktail party that Jesus finds himself at. It was too crowded to get in the doorway. And in both instances, Jesus said, when he saw their faith, not the guy in the stretcher, when he saw the faith of his 3 or 4 buddies who carried the stretcher, when the widow who asked for her son who was dead, Jesus said, when he saw the widow's faith, when he saw the centurion's faith, he healed the servant. So these are all what they call third-party miracles. And you come asking, not for yourself, but for a buddy, for a child, for a grandchild. And the tradition that we have of infant baptism, now we have the big font and the little font, the norm in the church, the norm is adult baptism. Now, having said that, if I poll everybody here, I bet most of us were baptized when we were 6 pounds. In a couple of weeks, I'll baptize the new people coming into the church that should have come in at Easter time. They come in as adults. But 99% of us today come in as infants. And that's kind of the abnormal for the early church. The early church, you walked in the door and said, hey, I want to join this community. How do I get involved with this community? And the person was, mature and age of reason, and we heard him say it. Now I have all these 6-pounders. I don't know that they want to be here. They might have other plans for Sunday afternoon. And they're carried in by mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, but mom and dad and grandpa and grandma are asking not for themselves, but they're asking for the 6-pounder. Powerful story.